Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. We are currently working on building up New Grenada because apparently we're losing leverage and they're falling out of my stupid power block, so that's not great. So let's see what else they need. New Grenada market needs ammo. I can definitely sell that to them, no problem. Shabamzo. What else do they need? They need furniture, clothes, and grain and fish. So I can for sure build those up. So let me see. Panama, let's go with a couple of fishing wharves. Antioquia, let's go with a couple of maize farms. Once again, Cundinamarca is the capital. They got full market access. They're going to need a little bit more infrastructure, and that's okay. We'll build up one more railway, and then we'll build a few more each furniture manufactories and textile mills, just to tide them over. That should be there where they're primarily developing, right? Let me see. Well, it looks like they're focusing development in Antioquia. Well, not exactly clear. Certainly more than other states. Yeah, so we'll focus on building up their capital. Once again, I'm going to throw this railway in at the top. That's just sensible policy right there. And we'll get this going. Ooh, Occitan mass immigration. We're getting a lot of immigration from France. Oh my goodness, France is in a civil war. What is happening here? There's a French radical revolt. So, France proper is the radical movement. And then the French radical revolt wants universal suffrage. Well, that's a shame. I might need to, Sadly, I can't side with the rebels, even though they're universal suffrage dorks. Which is a shame, because I like universal suffrage. But it is what it is. Let's build up a little bit more. New Grenada sides the French Republic. Alright, very good. Belgium sides the French Republic. Alright. French Republic, what will you give me? Transfer states. French Ivory Coast. Ooh. That's tempting. I wish I could get Guyana, but... Oh, Guyana's gone with the rebels. Well, that'll do it. Diplomatic pacts, I can get bankroll, but that's not worth as much. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll get the Ivory Coast, absolutely. Wasn't going to do a bunch of colonization in Africa, but I mean... You know, I might as well. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and send the Army of Observation to support our allies in the French Republic. I'm going to mobilize all my armies. And I'm going to mobilize the conscripts of the Army of Florida. I'm going to send them as well. And hopefully with a little bit of, you know, a little vassal swarm action, we'll all get into France and do our thing. You going to send some troops, New Grenada? You are. Excellent. Very good. I'm delighted by this outcome. Hey, we're in voting for migration controls. Wonderful. So, Antioquia, I just want to make sure I'm leaving them. I'm not going to leave them with enough infrastructure if I do this just like this. So I'll need to throw one railway at the top of the construction queue for that state as well. And make sure that I don't build up too much in Antioquia before I get that railway finished. So I'm just going to put those maize farms at the bottom. I think I'll put the maize farms all up in a block. Health investment increased to level 3. Very nice. That way those will get going once that railway is ready. Obviously this is completely goofing our finances, but again, interest is super duper low. So I'm actually not really all that worried. Do we have split fronts? No, it's not a split front. It's... Oh, Belgium has its own front. That's what that number is. Alright, Army of Florida. Over there. Oh, cripes. A bunch of my conscripts are going in the regular army. That's what's happening. Alright, alright. So we'll put the regular army over there. Gosh. I hope they get here in good time. Sure would be a shame if they did not. Perhaps Army of Florida will put you over onto defense for the moment, while the rest of my armies get here. Obviously, this force comparison is going to look much better over time, but for the moment, it's kind of goofy. So there's the war kicking off. Colonization of Ivory Coast complete, because, you know. I already have an interest here. I do not have the ability to colonize because I have frontier expansion as my law. Yes. So I can't... I don't have any of my primary cultures with homelands on the continent of Africa. That's why I can't do that. Hey, there's my migration controls. Wow, that sorted itself out really fast. So, what do I want to do next? Just take a quick pass through here. The Afro-Antillaean national movement is pretty strong. Well, it's pretty active, but not that strong. Reactionary movement's pretty active and strong. Liberal movement's pretty strong, but not very active. Labor movement's less strong, but only moderately active. So, suppose I go to free trade. That's not going to affect the labor movement, correct? Labor movement does not have any opinions on trade policy. It appears not. Alright, alright. I could appease them with Social Security a little later. And anyway, this will help with the industrialists. So let's do it. I've significantly depowered the yeoman farmers at this point. I'm gonna keep improving relations with Britain now that I got some frickin' influence to play with. Can I also improve them with Brazil? I cannot. What else can I get with Brazil? I can give them a bankroll, but that's not useful. And then there's Chile and Argentina. Chile. Let's improve relations with Chile a bit. No reason not to improve relations with Chile. So, in this situation... So Ivory Coast population is primarily Akan people. And that's this whole area here. Ashanti is also primarily Akan people. So, I think my ideal would be to turn Ashanti into a protectorate and just hand them off American Ivory Coast. I think that's the right way to do this. New Grenada wants military assistance. You know what? Sure. Absolutely. It's going to cost me a little bit, but I'm hoping that won't be too bad. Ooh. Not doing super well in this war. I think, unfortunately, I am going to have to mobilize my regular army's conscripts. This is a much bigger war than... I thought I might not need to mobilize too much, but I'm actually going to need to mobilize a lot. So this is going to lead to a significant increase in mobilization costs. Why are they always raising concerns? Stop being so concerned. The armed forces have expressed their concerns about government decisions clearly favoring the interests of the industrialists. Choosing is always hard, not because the decision is difficult to make, but because the consequences can be a bit inconvenient. Rumors are spreading like smoke from a factory, staining the clean air of the United States of America with a dense and vicious poison. This needs to be addressed. Armed forces happier, industrialists unhappy. Or they need to accept we can't always please everyone, armed forces weaker. The industrialists are pretty happy. They'll be happier later. This needs to be addressed. So that makes our armed forces happy. That actually makes our armies a little stronger, which is something we need in the short term. This front is not looking any better, so I'm going to put these units over to advance. And we're just going to have that the way it is. 11 weeks till the railway in Antioquia is finished. This is not going super hot, I have to say. the enemy is winning most of their battles, which is completely wrecking our war support. So I'm actually going to put all of my armies on defense for the time being, just while we build up additional forces. And hopefully our allies will take their cue from that and we can get what we want. The Radical Revolt does not have war support protection, but the government does. Despite the fact that the revolt appears to be holding Ile-de-France right now. Please tell me Lorraine is not their capital. It is not. So where's the government capital right now? The government is in Normandy, so as long as we hold Normandy, we should be fine. Law proposal causes uproar in Afro-American communities. Claiming that the enactment of free trade would affect the country's Afro-American inhabitants in a disproportionately negative way, Afro-American firebrands have riled their communities against the current law proposal. Give them a finger and they will cry for an arm. Give them an arm and before you know it, they will weaponize the arm, batter you all to death with it, and pilfer their corpses for even more concessions. And their thoughts concern us how? Force the issue through. Penalty to bureaucracy, 5% of Afro-American pops in Georgia become more radical, 5% enactment chance. Make some token amends, 2% of Afro-American pops in Georgia become more radical. Or acknowledge and address their concerns, 5% of Afro-American pops in Georgia become loyalist, minus 5% enactment success chance. I'm going to do the first one. That was more government, a larger bureaucracy penalty than I wanted it to be. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just going to build up a couple levels of bureaucracy to make sure that I'm not goofing my finances over it, and then we should be good to go. Paramilitary intimidation. Political groups opposed to Reconstruction have organized militant units to intimidate voters in Louisiana and restore themselves to power. While I understand that our organization causes consternation among some elements of the population, I can assure you that our bayonets and our rifles are purely for display purposes only. Horrendous. Disband these units at once. 40 acres and a mule. In the war against the secessionists, many enslaved people believed that once they were freed, they would have the right to own the land they had been forced to work on as slaves. People in Alabama have pressed the issue with local authorities who are turning to us for direction. Land! Land is what we need. I can't feed myself with a ballot box. With a ballot box? Give me a plot of land I've been working on so that I can feed my family. I'm going to authorize the limited redistribution of land. It's going to make the Dixie upper class big salty, but, you know, we're not here to please them. British public's going after Futa Jalon, Liberal revolt in Tidor. That's in Indonesia. I can't be bothered with that. Gosh, there sure are a lot of armies over here. My ability to win this for the French is pretty limited. With that having been said, I won't be unhappy if the French Radical Revolt loses. Defamatory article. A newspaper called the South Carolina Chronicle has printed a bigoted article about the Afro-American people living there. We can suppress the article or we can let it be released. He threw the tabloid across the table with a huff. Absolutely vile lies, a lot of it. Alas, that won't matter to those who read it. They'll gobble it right up. He eyed the shocked maid's face and righted himself. Of course they'd believe it. He hadn't given them proof to the contrary. I can suppress it, which costs me authority, or I can ignore it, which reduces standard of living for Afro-Americans in South Carolina. I'm going to suppress it. I'm doing just fine on authority. 5% of authority is kind of nothing. Alright, so here is the railway in Antioquia being finished, and the maize farms are just getting started. So that's fine. Alright. So we finished colonizing Arizona, and that completes the Mexican cession. Can I start? I'm already incorporating. Excellent. We've wrested control of the American Southwest from the illegitimate clutches of Mexico. The United States of America now stretches from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. This was our destiny. Yankee homelands and Dixie homelands all over the area. Interesting. So, I need to start making expeditions to map the American West. Oh, but I'm in the middle of a war. I think I need to be at peace for that, so we'll just let that be for now. Yep, I do think we are going to lose this war. We're really short on manpower in these armies, and conscription is going not fast enough to actually fix things. Hey, there's crystal glass. Ooh, excellent. More glass, more glass, more glass. Obviously, that's going to make our glassworks unprofitable, but I might be able to upgrade my urban centers production methods to use that glass. No. Covered markets. What do you need? Steel frame buildings. Alright, well, we're working on it. Oh, I need to normalize production methods in the new territory that I took. Never mind. Wonderful. Okay, so they're taking Picardy. Well, I progressed to study. Excellent. So now, what if I think... Ooh, and there's the Wild West completed. Excellent. Empire of Japan colonized Sakhalin... Wait, Empire of Japan? I'm just going to move all my armies over to what I see as the main front. I don't think Belgium's really contributing all that much here. Hey, they got the House of Yamato ruling again. That's interesting. That's exciting. The British Republic still got their treaty fort, but it does appear that the area is... Oh no, it's not isolated. It just looks isolated on the map from here. It's just a little black border. That's why it looks like that. Alright. I guess I'll put my fleets into the action as well. Here in Gibraltar, because they're going to be trading along the south here. And we'll... want to use a convoy raider, right? Nope, not especially. Alright, well that's fine. Alright, so again, if we can hold Normandy... Alright, New Grenada bailed out of the war. Smoke streams, vivid red sunsets were reported for several months across the country. Fire engines were even called out in Pennsylvania to quench the apparent conflagration. Many artists and academics have expressed their interest in this phenomenon. A blue and sometimes green moon, its inflammable luminescence igniting the night with unnatural intensity, while moonbeams shining through the clouds emerge purple, and sometimes also blue, green. Lavender suns, noctilescent clouds, a distasteful fascination. Only a painting could capture such beauty, extra Arts Academy throughput, or academics must ensure that we're prepared for the next eruption. Extra university throughput, volcanic eruptions will be less damaging in the future. I'm going to do the second one. I think that just makes good sense. Alright, and now finances are doing a lot better because we're only building 2 things. How's our leverage going? It's even worse. It's never been worse. Why does our leverage keep going down? New Grenada, what's going on with you? Heck it. I'm going to have to take them over anyway. Gold rush in California. You know I'm going to hit the mine it's all mine button. Law debate failed. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so if we can keep chipping away, if my fellow war leaders would stop attacking and go on to defense, I might be able to win this. Bison hunting. Once again, I'm going to have the army slaughter bison. This is just the decision that I'm making from a game perspective this whole time. New Brunswick asks us to support their independence. No, thank you. Not yet, at least. I'm going to need a couple more government admins because I'm still a little short on bureaucracy as I'm trying to get healthcare up to level 4. So they can stay at the bottom. It's really 6 of one, half dozen of the other at this point. This war is proving quite costly. The fact that I can't get my freaking units up to scratch with their armies is not great. With that having been said, I'm not unhappy about the French radical revolt. If that keeps up... Yep, so Belgium's bailed out of the war. How am I? Oh, I'm out of the war. Excellent. Overly enthusiastic partisans. Supporters of the Republican Party have gone beyond simply campaigning for their own party, harassing and sometimes physically attacking opposing partisans. I'm a simple party man, that's all. I know who I like, and I know who I don't like. And I know I want my people to win, and their people to lose. Crackdown on the Republican Party activities, reduce momentum, or let them continue unmolested, weaker and angrier evangelicals. I'm going to do the second one. Keeping the Republican Party strong is going to help us keep our congressional majority. Gosh, the yeoman farmers and the southern planters are really, really turbo marginalized. Usually when you go to universal suffrage, the yeoman farmers get strong as heck in the United States. But not this time. Montana is fully colonized at this point, so I can start incorporating them. South Dakota, same deal. There's Wyoming finished out. I can go with them as well. So where does that leave me in terms of institution? 7 more weeks. I think we'll be able to get there. If not, I'll build just a few more government facilities and it'll be fine. So how's our market looking? We're still real short on paper. Ooh. Indefensible extortion. An orator from the industrialists has gone on a speaking tour across the nation, denouncing protectionism and praising the value of free trade. When we consider the theory of our great system guarantees to everyone the full enjoyment of all the fruits of their industry and enterprise, it is clear that anything other than the free flow of goods is an indefensible extortion and a culpable betrayal of our values. We work towards a common goal, 10% enactment chance, or the industrialists have a truly remarkable speaker among them, stronger and happier industrialists. I'm going to go with the first one. I'll just grab that enactment chance. Making the industrial stronger is not necessarily something that's valuable to me. So, I'm going to start improving relations with the French radical revolt. Bishop takes black pawn. At a soiree for the Democratic Party's wealthiest supporters, John Brown began a long-winded rant about the... This is not a very historically accurate situation, I have to say. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this. Hold on. Let me just get a nice screenshot of this. r/unhinged paradox. This is really weird. If you know the history of who John Brown is, and again, no idea why he's supporting the reactionary movement at this time. He's an abolitionist. Anyway, people are entitled to their opinions even if they're wrong, plus 10% momentum for the Democrats. Their civilization will be the means of our equality. 5% of Afro-American pops in the country become more radical. 30% momentum for the Democrats. I'm going to go with the first one. Let's just blitz on by that one. It's one of our paradoxing. All right. So, I think... unfortunately, I'm going to need to build up a little bit more government administration. Actually, I only need one of these. Because I'm nearly there. I got 13 days more. And then it'll be good to go. So how's my leverage now? It's getting better. I have a unidirectional truce with them for 7 months. So hopefully we'll be able to just go ahead and make them a protectorate as soon as I get the chance. No one else is working with them right now very closely. I gotta say, loyalists are pretty high. That's partially because I've been increasing healthcare, and that's making my standard of living go up. And now I'm just going to try to relax a bit because I need to eat into this these shortages of freaking... No, you know what I need to do? I need to send an expedition to the west to map the frontier and such like. Expedition to map the western frontier. Send out an expedition to map the unknown geography of the western frontier. On our very doorstep is a land bursting with promise. We should seize that promise while we can, and if not now, we shall be overtaken by eagles and lions and heaven forbid snails. I know the person for the job. We'll send John Brown. He's got a long and curious history with abolition and such like as that. So maybe this will give him an opportunity to cool his heels out in the west and generally make things better for himself. So, the art of doing nothing. Though previously opposing free trade laws, John Brown, while he's off on expedition, has considered the industrialist political position and instead offers support. While speaking with constituents on matters of law, one must first master the art of appearing to do nothing. While you do everything behind whispers and masked men? Indubitably. I'm going to welcome their support. This gives us 10% increased enactment chance. Makes John Brown and the Industrials 5% stronger. The other option is 5% enactment chance, and that just reduces his popularity. But I'm going to welcome their support because I want as much enactment chance as we can so I can get this done ASAP. So into a pop to 4th American Army, so I can go ahead and get rid of that. How close am I to overcoming France? Pretty close. Undiscovered plant species. A member of the expedition is asked for a few days to stop and collect samples of a previously unknown plant species. The colorful petals of the plant have certainly never been seen before. A dash of the brightest scarlet, some hints of adventurous azure, thorns, but only so small that the risk is desirable. Soon the most luxurious salons of the United States of America will be brimming with vases of these flowers. Every woman will wish their lover would bring her some. Fascinating, and certainly lucrative. Of course, expedition slightly delayed, minor progress, 5% prestige, or what are we gardeners, expedition gains progress. I'm going to do the first one. Slight delay is not a problem. So we got 2 bars now, one for progress and one for peril, it looks like. So that's just fine. Excellent. So there's steel frame construction. I've once again completely failed to prepare for steel frame construction. So let's take a look at how the steel industry is running. Steel is reasonably affordable. So we'll start converting sectors over slowly. Starting with our larger ones, I think. So first we'll do the one in New York. We'll give that a little bit of time. And we'll see how our market has been impacted. Alright, price of steel is going up, but not by that much. And price of glass is going up, but by really a very small amount. So we'll do another one. We'll do the one in Ohio next. Very good. Questionable practices. Released patients in the Washington Asylum have steadily denounced the practices involved in their supposedly medical treatments. Mistreatment of the sick, withholding of personal letters, and disproportionate punishments were among the charges. They would make us sit in a chair for hours, if not the whole day, in silence. We couldn't talk to any other patient, not even read a book. They would only excuse us to go to the restroom if we were lucky. Otherwise, it was just a rusty chamber pot. No food, no water. If we were not sick when we were admitted, we would be within a few weeks. Their judgment cannot be trusted. Evangelicals salty. We need to entirely revise how the asylum system works. DC gets +1 standard of living for the lower and middle strata, but it costs the government a pile of cash. Or the evangelicals can take over the asylum system. Evangelicals happier, minus 10% bureaucracy. Unfortunately, I think we're just going to have to piss off the evangelicals on this one. I don't have the money and I don't have the bureaucracy. Oh my goodness. Bear sighting. A large grizzly has been sighted up ahead. We could hang back and wait for it to leave, or we could hunt it. Here the bears grow lean and famished. That does not make it any better. The keen eyes, the craving jaws, the drops of saliva dripping down the yellowed fangs. They're always so alert here, so vigilant. Oh, but it isn't only for them that food is scarce around these mountains. We shall hunt it. 66% chance of a successful bear hunt. 33% chance of a failure, or better to be safe, 30% chance of bear attacks, 70% chance of no effect. I'm going to say we'll hunt it. These don't seem too different to me. Bear hunt failure. Gosh darn it. The hunt started off well enough, but too late we realized it was a mother bear with her cubs. It's a fact well appreciated that you never come between a mother bear and her cubs. Onward. So that puts us at, okay, so now that this peril's a bar, we've got a much better chance we've got a much better opportunity to see where we are in terms of peril and what we need to do to ensure that we don't get too much higher on that bar. So yes, so this says low peril, but really we're at 3 out of 8. Peril's an 8-point scale, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to stop bankrolling New Grenada. How much longer on this truce? 4 more months. It's until May. Well, that is what it is. Alright, I need to put some new technologies in. I've gotten to level 3 on society. So I could grab another level 3 over here. Corporatism would be nice. Civilizing mission would not actually be useful to me. Let's go with some military ones. I've been kind of neglecting military, and I think it's starting to show. We'll finish out... we got triage spreading to us. We'll grab triage... No. Yeah, I need triage. Triage is better. We'll grab triage, fieldworks, and then directly hop forward to breach loading artillery through shell gun, and that'll be just fine. That having been said, that is actually all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.